I'll show you options without them, but you might want to have a block, a strap, a band, or even a pillow handy. Set yourself up in a comfortable cross-legged position. Make sure you're breathing fully and completely all the way down through the belly and let it expand and contract. And then relax. Starting light, reach over to one side, stretch out the side of the body and the hips, and then the other side. And then we'll turn our head side to side, just looking over one shoulder and then the next, keeping our breathing going. And then we'll just turn and rotate, reaching that top of the head towards the ceiling, and then rotating to the other side. Very nice and light and easy. Circle the torso from side to side, picking up the pace. And then we'll go again, reaching a bit further, getting just a little bit deeper, not too deep though. We'll be really nice and soft with the neck as we turn our head from side to side. Let's do it a couple more times this time. And let's do those turns, those rotations with the spine, straightening up the spine, rotating through it, feeling the back warm up. Adding a couple more this time, and then going into those rotations and keeping it real nice and smooth. Nothing too serious. Just going through and warming up the hips and the body and the torso and the back. And then we'll drop one ear to the shoulder and then the other and try to open up there and release your jaw. Make sure those lips aren't tight together. Just opening things up. Rotate those shoulders back. Keep it nice and easy. Constantly breathing, staying loose. And then we'll roll them forward, trying really hard not to flare out the ribs, just keeping it confined to the shoulders. And mine are pretty tight, so I'm trying as hard as I can to keep it there and open up that back and those shoulders. But I'm gonna lock it through and just relax, and won't stay locked into my arms. I'll keep it really nice and loose. And then let's walk forward with our hands, just opening up the back. And then walk back. And we'll go through that sequence one more time just to make sure we're really loose and warm. If that back fusses a little bit or those hips start stiffening, then wiggle out those legs and those knees. Just loosen everything up and focus on that. Easy head turns. Rotations, getting taller. Twisting a tiny bit deeper, and then loosening it all up with those rotations. You might feel a little off balance with these, but just keep it loose and light. Then drop that ear to the shoulder and the other side too. Rolling those shoulders back again. And then forward, and then taking that breath deep. Breathing on through every time. Let's get ready to walk forward again with our hands. And sit back, and we'll recross the legs. And walk forward again, just to get that other side. Give it a little bit more attention too, and some focus. And we'll walk forward one more time just to open that side up since we hung out on the other side for so long. And then we'll relax. On to the stretches. Let's keep our blocks or whatever tools we have handy and near us. And we're going to start with the hip flexors. I'm going to turn my left toes under to keep good balance, and then take my right foot forward. Set yourself up, square your hips, and try to push your hips forward. They may not go very far, but contracting the left glute and lifting the abdominals will help you to lengthen the left hip flexor. I know, for some of you it feels like nothing's moving, especially if you've got tighter hips, but just keep at it and grab those blocks if you need greater balance support. Continue to keep the focus on that hip flexor right through there. If the left hip creeps back, you'll be able to move easier, but you won't get the most out of the stretch. Encourage the left hip to stay in line with the right. Side view here. I even turned the top of my foot down to the floor if that's more comfortable for you. Still lifting up on the abdominals. And again, if it does help with balance, you can go ahead and turn those toes back under. Let's go deeper just briefly, raising that left arm up overhead to the other side. I've placed my right arm down onto my thigh. You can also take that right arm and place it on the block if you're, yikes, wobbly a little bit. Just opening this up a little bit more, showing a new option and way to extend that muscle. Bring that arm down and set yourself up to rock out the legs just for a few moments here. I've turned those back toes under and I'm going to sit back onto my heel and then just flex my front toes forward just a few times. Let's put those hands to the inside of the right foot. Turn the right toes out just a touch. And this might be enough for a lot of people. I mean, you'll already feel it in that right hip quite a bit. You can bring it in, you can play with it a little bit, you'll feel it right there. Ugh. Some awesome flexible people and yogis can put their forearms all the way down to the ground. Maybe you can, but for me, I'm a little tight here. So I'm going to use the blocks, or you can grab a pillow, just anything that can elevate you a bit and help. Or you can keep your hands straight and those arms straight down on the ground like we started with. But either way, we're trying to get deep into those hips. And you can play with levels. I'll turn mine down a little bit. I'm a little bit more flexible on this side than my next side. And I'm going to just pull it in. You can keep moving throughout your stretches. Keep moving and then hold. Sometimes holding something for too long makes the muscles fuss a bit, or the ligaments fuss. So we want to keep it moving when we need to keep moving and not allow it to cramp. Let's add a rotation into that spine and place that right hand right to the inside of the right foot. Those toes are forward now. Back leg is extended. Maybe tuck the abdominals a bit. And then I'm just going to reach up towards the sky, look up at my hand. And if you're unbalanced at all, maybe grab a block to the inside or to the outside of the foot, whatever works. But we're just trying to get some rotation in the spine and stretch that left side out. And now let's move into the pigeon stretch. Just working on all parts of those hips. And I'm going to grab a block because my hips are quite a bit tight. And you can, again, grab a pillow. Grab anything that can elevate that hip if you need to. I'll also show you this on the floor in case you're more flexible than I am. Try not to let that left hip creep open. Push it down towards the floor. Keep it square with the right hip. That right leg is at a 90-degree angle. It doesn't look so 90 degrees right now from the camera angle, but it is. You can pull it in towards your left knee if you want to cut that angle in half, if that right angle fusses. And I'm reaching forward, I'm relaxing into the stretch as much as possible. I'm even grabbing a block to rest my head on, just so I can just melt into the stretch. Now that it's a bit looser, I'll even take that block out from under my hip and let my hip rest on the floor. So I'm going to come on up, move that other block away. To prevent my left hip from rotating upward, I'm pulling my right foot back at more of a 45-degree angle.
Those more flexible can keep that right leg at 90 degrees. Listen to your body and try not forcing the stretch to happen. It'll improve best if we're insistent but gentle.
Continue to feel at ease, holding it for a while, enjoying the release of that muscle.
Let's take it to a quad stretch. Come on out. Lean onto your right forearm. Bring those legs at your sides. I'm going to move that block away so you could see. And my elbow should be right underneath my shoulder. I adjusted it right there. Arms are relaxed. I'm going to gently bring that left ankle into my left hand, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the top part of my body, resting the neck and feeling that stretch in the left quadricep, that top of the thigh. You want to tuck your abdominals a bit so that that lower back doesn't come into the stretch and you don't start arching backwards in some kind of way. We want to confine the stretch to the quad. Really draw that ankle in towards the glute.
Be sure to extend it forward and release it if you need to, and then come back in. Holding this one for a little while, taking our breath, relaxing everything that's not being stretched, really focusing on the quad. And let's come out of it, rocking those legs out side to side just a bit, and then getting ready for those same stretches on the other side. The right toes are turned under, and that left leg is forward. Don't forget to grab those blocks if you need to. Remembering to lift the abdominals, tuck the tailbone, squeeze the glutes, and push those hips evenly forward. Please do wiggle things out a little bit. This stretch can make you feel like you are going nowhere. You're stuck at a wall, especially if you're tight. Try not to be tempted to really drop forward. Push through the hips evenly. During our side view, we'll start to raise that right arm over towards the left to open up that hip flexor on the right a bit more. Let's get those blocks in there in case you need them. This can be a little bit of a balancing act, so if you need to hold on to something, square yourself, get yourself set up, relax those shoulders, hold on to a block, hold on to a chair that's nearby, relax out that neck, and just focus as much as you can on the stretch. Get all the tools you need to help you with it. Transitioning and turning those toes under if they're not. Rock back and forth, sort of shaking out the legs before we move on. And let's stay forward. Take those hands to the inside of the left foot. Turn the left toes out. Elongate that right leg. Lengthen it. You can stay on your hands if you like, if this is enough of a stretch for you. Or you can gradually go down to your forearms. I'll grab those blocks, and I already know I'm a little tighter, a lot tighter on this side. Sometimes the tightness can be surprising. Be patient with yourself. Coax it open. It's super hard to get my muscles to open up, as it might be for you. As runners, as people that do boot camp, kickboxing, weight training, CrossFit, anything that tends to tighten the muscles. And here we are, trying to lengthen them. So we find tools like blocks or chairs or some kind of assistance to help us. And if we don't have those things, we'll use the floor and maneuver our bodies so that we open it up. But we definitely shouldn't ignore flexibility. We want all-around fitness. We need to incorporate this into our program.
Okay, let's move those blocks to the side and get ready to twist open. Place that left hand to the inside of the foot and raise that right arm up, looking up at the fingers or looking down at the left toes if your neck fusses. Grab a block or something to hold on to if you need more help with balance. Unwind and set yourself up for pigeon. I put my block underneath my hip. You can go ahead and put your hips to the floor or down on a pillow if you like. You can rest your head on the block, relax the arms. You can extend the arms if you like, and keep the head up. You can pull your elbows back. Whatever works for you that makes the stretch relaxing and lengthening. Don't forget to drop that right hip towards the floor. Drag it down. Be active, but also enjoy the stretch and the feeling of release in the muscles. I'm going to take out my blocks, rest my hip on the floor. I've pulled my heel back towards the extended leg just so I can get more leverage and range of motion. Let's slowly peel ourselves off the floor, lean onto the left side there, wiggle around that left leg, shake it out a little bit so it doesn't get crampy. And then we're leaning onto our left elbow. I've moved the blocks away so you could see. And then go ahead and pull that right ankle or right heel in towards the right glute. Keep that right leg parallel to the ground. Knee shoots straight forward. Tuck those abdominals so that you don't allow that back to arch at all, and we can confine the stretch to the top of the thigh. Release that ankle and let's move on to the hamstrings, calves, and trunk. Start with your legs out in front and rock side to side, getting everything all even. Straighten your spine, so a straight trunk, and you want to lead almost with your stomach instead of with your chest dropping down. We don't want that. We want to make sure that the stretch gets into the back of the legs and the trunk. So it's almost like pulling your chest upwards and your head upwards and forward. And then you can feel the intensity of the stretch in the backs of the legs. You don't have to reach the feet. It's okay if you grab behind your knees, behind your ankles. Just make sure that you're lifting that chest upwards and forward. You could also use a band or a strap or even a towel to help pull those feet towards you. It helps because you can then get a calf stretch as well. And let's focus on one side and grab one foot. And again, put that band or towel or strap around the foot for help if you need it. And we're going to lift this up towards our face. Try to keep the leg straight and that knee locked out and the torso straight too. We don't want to cave like that. So stay upright so that you get the proper stretch. Remember, this is just another option for stretching the back of the legs. So if it's more comfortable for you to keep both legs on the ground, do so. And I'm starting to wiggle around my ankle, roll my foot around just to keep things loose and keep it moving. Maybe even bend and straighten the knee, pulling it towards me as much as I can. Use that strap if you need to, or grab the back of the knee if you need to. And let's relax that. Put that right foot down. We're going to go into a bit of a twist and take that left arm across and around that right knee. Take the right arm and hug it in as well. And let's look over our right shoulder and get a good twist in there, feeling a nice hip stretch. Just throwing that in while we're here, letting our body feel good, trying to get all parts. Let's release that right knee down to the ground, drawing the right foot in towards the inner thigh on the left leg, moving into a half forward fold or half forward bend to focus even further on the back of the leg. I'll push that right knee away. Again, extending the torso upward and forward, keeping the neck relaxed. I can reach my feet, but if you need to grab that band or press that back knee down and hold the back of the knee with your hands, that's fine too. Whatever works to really focus the stretch on the back of the legs. Or more specifically, this left leg. And I'm going to point my toes just to include that shin stretch. Since I can reach my foot, I can press my toes downward, but if not, that's okay. You can just rock it out a little bit. We're trying to get, again, all parts. And if you can reach it, press that down. Maybe tuck your toes underneath a sofa or something like that if you want a little bit deeper of a stretch. And let's relax and move on over to the other side. So evening ourselves out, getting ourselves set up. Reaching for the left foot this time. Let's lift up that left leg, lengthening our spine, drawing that left leg close, maybe bending and straightening the leg, being careful with that knee. Don't forget about the strap or the towel or some kind of apparatus to help you if you need it. Remember to grab behind that knee if you can't reach your foot, and you can roll that ankle around and keep the movement going if you like. Draw the left knee in towards the chest, take that right arm across and then the left, straighten out that spine and turn and look over that left shoulder, feeling a nice stretch once again on that left side. And some people like to focus on flexing that extended foot. I'm partial to relaxing the foot, just as long as you don't drop in the torso. We always want to be mindful of form. And let's release that knee down to the ground and move into our half forward fold on this side. So loosening up my glutes, taking a breath, and I'll come forward this time, setting myself up, making sure that toe doesn't turn out. We want to keep those toes straight up. They like to go out to release those hips, but we want to stretch the hips and the backs of the legs. Take that band, strap, or towel in hand to pull those toes back if you need a little bit more assistance. Extend the right toes forward, and if your hands can reach your feet, you can go ahead and press those toes forward to feel that shin stretch, or continue to move the ankle around to loosen things up there. Come out of it, shoot your legs to the left, and tuck your left foot underneath your left glute, just so. And then lean your torso back onto your hands. We're going to focus on the top of the thighs again, the hips, and the hip flexor. So to feel this, push your left hip upward toward the ceiling. Right now I'm on my hands, but you can go down to your forearm if that feels comfortable for you, continuing to push those hips forward without hurting the lower back. If you're tighter here, that knee is going to want to come on up. Press it down gently. We want to progress the stretch. So come back onto your hands if need be to allow the muscle to release. Some people can even lay all the way down, but do you see my knee creeping up? Not a good idea. So I'm going to come right back up. That's a no-go. All right, that's okay. It'll loosen up. Take those legs to the other side and get ready to stretch the other thigh. So most people really love this stretch, but some people find that it puts too much pressure on the foot. So in that case, just be careful. Maybe go back to leaning on the forearm and stretching the thigh the way that we did before. Oh, this side is a little tight for me, so I'm gonna have to stay up onto my hands. and work on this one a little bit more. I'll try and go down to my forearm. I can feel a little bit more of a stretch there. That works. And I'm shooting that hip upwards, maybe moving it around a little bit to open it up and encourage it to open up. But I doubt I'm going to be able to go all the way down to the ground. If you can, go ahead and do so, and that's fine. I'll try it. I'll try to lean through, but I'm going to keep it moving and be encouraging to the muscles. No force. There's just no reason to. The cobbler's pose. We've brought our feet together, and really tight people are going to want to probably sit on that block or sit on just a higher platform to raise up, because for some of us, our knees are coming all the way up to our chins. So we want to stretch the inner thighs and the hips. Hang on to the ankles. Try to press the thighs downward with the elbows. Relax the shoulders. Draw your stomach towards your feet. Chest rises up. No caving in the back. That's not going to be the stretch you want. You want to really elongate your torso. Maybe hold your feet instead. Since we're holding these for a while, don't forget to loosen it up, come out of it, and then come right back into it if need be. You will notice I cannot put my head to the floor. I'll reach forward as much as I can, but I'm not that flexible either. That's okay. You know, some weeks when I'm really focused on stretching, it does help. And if I do it 3 times a week, it's fantastic. But I've got to spend like an hour, almost 2 hours on it. And I can be a circus performer those weeks, an acrobat. But we only can do what we can do. And that's okay. We're going to really focus on every fitness aspect we can and be safe. And I'm going to move my right hand to my ankle and shoot my right shoulder down towards my right knee. I want to get into the back a little bit. I'm pressing my left knee away with my left hand and looking up. And that is quite tight back there. You can also grab your feet. You can grab towards the underneath part of the knee, not on the knee. I tend to prefer my ankle. It gives me more leverage. I'm going to release it a little bit, relax it, and take it to the other side. Taking now my left hand over onto my right ankle and leaning that left shoulder down towards the left knee. That right shoulder is shooting back. And I can press that right knee away, just getting that stretch in the right side. Feels really nice. Rock out that neck. Make sure nothing is holding still or tight. Look up at that ceiling or sky. Keep breathing. Let's move into the inner thighs. So spread your legs out wide. So if you're a little tight, this might be wide enough. Stay there. But if you can, open up a little bit more. Do so. Set yourself up. And then walk forward with your hands, keeping those toes straight up and feeling that stretch, especially on the inner thighs. Continue to breathe. Same principle. Draw the stomach towards the floor. Be careful of the knees here. They really like to fuss with this one, especially if we turn them forward. Make sure they stay up. Make sure you're bending them a bit. Make sure you are not stuck in the stretch and you continue to move around. This is quite a pull on those ligaments around the knee that shoot all the way upwards towards the inner thigh. So if you need help, and if you want to rest into it, I've grabbed my blocks. I'm going to get myself set up and I'm going to put them right in front. This is a delicious stretch, and rest my forehead down and stay there. My head some days can go all the way down to the ground and some days can't. And I would like to relax into it and be gentle on these inner thighs. I move around with it. I move my knees around. Make sure to listen and pay attention with these. And definitely, if those knees are aching, please bring those feet closer together. Adding in a side bend. Place your right forearm down on the ground to the inside of your right knee. You can extend your arm a bit. Just make sure you have good balance. Maybe your forearm doesn't go all the way down. That's okay. Take your left hand behind your head, press that knee away, and then press the left elbow outward back towards your back, looking over your left elbow. Extend the left arm to intensify the stretch. Otherwise, keep that hand on the head or keep the arm down. Lay on to the left forearm this time. Lean over to that left side, dropping that left shoulder down towards the left leg, and then taking that right hand behind the head. Make sure that left shoulder is going down. Right hand behind the head, look up over that right elbow, and we're really opening up. You can add some movement into this too. I've been saying not to stay stiff, so try to keep that movement going, especially if you need it. Extend the arm if you need it. Notice if that neck ends up kinking. Shake that out, bring those legs together, and let's get ready for the chest and the arms. Come onto your stomach and place your arms at 90-degree angles. We're actually going to focus on the right side of the chest. So use your left hand to peel your body off the floor. Draw your knees up towards your waist into a 90-degree-ish angle, whatever is comfortable for you. You should feel a stretch on the right chest, the right shoulder. We're trying to draw that left shoulder back. You'll see that mine is quite forward. Yours might be as well. We can take that left arm around and try to help open up that side of the body. Certainly be careful and definitely don't push too hard. Enjoy this. It is such a wonderful stretch. Let's extend the arm as well and see how that feels. That'll go deeper into the shoulder even, and you can, move around that hand. Take it up high, take it up low. Right about there is where I feel comfortable. You can even open up that shoulder a bit more. Let's be even kinder to those shoulders and chest. We're going to focus on the left side this time. So I've slid my right arm through and down. I'm laying on my right shoulder, and you'll want to grab a block or a towel to lay down on just for comfort. So I'm clapping my hands together, and I'm going to take my left arm all the way up in a circular motion and then back around to over my hand, reaching over my fingers almost. So we're opening up again, opening up the spine and reaching through our fingers and around again. And just breathe. So you can even inhale here and then exhale as we take it around. And then we can hang out. Let that left arm just hang there. Let gravity open it up. Find your level. Find the area that's tightest and let it lay there. Wiggle those fingers if your arm starts to go numb. Pay attention to the neck. Pay attention to the other parts of the body and make sure nothing else is tight while you open up this one side. So let it lay there, relax it there, wiggle things out gently, breathe on through, wave a little bit with that arm, enjoy this. This is a delicious, delicious stretch. And we'll just take a couple rounds, one or two, one more time, just to loosen it up again. And then start to circle it around the other way, just a few times. even opening up the torso. And relax. And let's take it to the other side, doing the same set of stretches on the other side. So we're back on the stomach, and this time for this first stretch, we're going to focus on the left side. Our arm is at a 90-degree angle. We've pulled our knees up towards you. Sorry for seeing my back right now. And I've opened up my shoulder. I'll show you a side view as well. Hand behind the back if you can. Otherwise, keep that hand on the floor. And if you can open up that top shoulder a little bit more, go ahead and do so. You see how my right shoulder is forward of my left? I would love for them to be stacked one on top of the other. But again, I'm not flexible enough. If you are, let that be your focus, to peel yourself very gently and mindfully open. Okay, let's straighten out that left arm and see if we can open up a little bit more. Some people, I've seen it, more than half the people in my classes can do this. They can reach their top hands all the way to their left hand. So right and left meet each other in back. I am super tight from all the lifting I've done. So if you are, you can stay where I am. If you are more flexible, then go ahead and reach open. Let's add that circular movement, sliding that left arm through. We're going to lay down on that pillow or that block. I'll grab it right here. Adjust myself and adjust my area so I'm comfortable. And then take that right hand over and upward and around to open up the trunk and the chest and the shoulders. Try to keep things relaxed. And hang out and find those tight areas and see if you can open up a little bit more there. And then continuing that movement on through to coax those muscles free. Let's find that really tight spot again and hang out there a little bit longer, letting gravity help us open the chest and the shoulders up and even the trunk space. Breathing into that tight part of the chest, giving it movement even through breath. And then we'll circle around again, just opening it up once more. Opening it up is the theme of the day, and we are going to focus on it and taking it around the other side just to throw it in there and do something different with those muscles, use them in a different way. Prepare to come up on all fours for cat-cow. I've spread my hands out a bit just so they're right underneath the shoulders, knees are right underneath the hips, and I've already started movement with my spine. I'm pulling my navel into the spine, exhaling as I round forward, and then inhaling as I arch up. So here's my exhale, pulling my navel into the spine, trying to get that lower back to arch. It's not moving much, but I'm trying. And then inhaling here as I arch down and look up, almost leading with the forehead, moving up. Yeah, see, I'm trying to get that tailbone to draw down and pull that navel in. My toes are turned under right now for balance. I can flatten the tops of my feet to the ground if that is more comfortable for me, so do what works. And pay attention to the entire movement of the spine. I mean from the cervical all the way down through the tailbone. Walk the hands forward, keep the hips up in the air. Moving deeper into the top part of the chest now. This side view may help better understand the stretch. So I'm going to push those blocks away. My hips are up in the air and I've extended my arms forward. So some people can have that chest drop all the way to the ground. Mine's up a little bit. That's okay if yours is too. You might want to bend your elbows if the shoulders start kinking a little bit. I can't say enough to listen to your body, to keep that movement going and hold it where it's comfortable to hold, move around where you need to adjust. This is different from a child's pose where the hips are down. The hips are up in the air and the greater part of the intensity is on the chest. Draw your torso forward and then walk your hands gently back. This time we're going to place our elbows on the floor. So very gently draw your hips down, place your right, then your left elbow, not quite the elbow, right underneath the elbow, down on the ground. And I've made prayer hands and drawn my thumbs to the back of my neck. This is stretching the triceps, the back of the arms, a little bit of the chest, the sides of the back. Some people will feel it in their neck, so make sure to shake that out a little bit. Nothing should hurt, no pain. Be gentle. I'll show you a raised option. I'll grab those blocks. You could also put your elbows on a chair that's padded. Make sure you've got some kind of padding so that it doesn't ache. And again, it's the underside of the elbows. So I'm leaning back. And the raise can help some people, or some people say it doesn't help too much. So figure out what works. Release those shoulders, release that back. Draw downward with the tailbone, sit back. Continue to focus on your breathing, continue to move things around. Let's go into a raised child's pose. So I'll grab the blocks. You can put your hands on a chair or anything elevated, even a pillow, or stack some pillows. That's fine too. You can keep your hands on the floor if you want, but I'll put my hands on a block just to show you and sit back. So I'm trying to drop my tailbone down to the ground. This helps a little bit to open the shoulders even more. Being raised gets a bit deeper into them. As always, keep adjusting yourself. Keep checking in on the neck, on anything that's aching, and make sure to release it, loosen it up. Let's clear the area and take our hands all the way over to the left side, dropping the hips to the right. Breathe deeply into that right side of the body and feel a wonderful stretch along the arms, along the sides, along the hips on that right side. I love all stretches, but I especially love this one. And I'm going to grab a block and just rest my head on it. So you do whatever you like that makes this more enjoyable for you. And let's move on over to the other side. So reach those hands all the way to the right, and this time shift those hips to the left and feel that stretch all along the left side of the body. Come on up. Let's focus on the tricep directly, and then of course the lats as you pull through that tricep. Sit comfortably, raise that right arm up, and then go ahead and bend that elbow and try to pull it through underneath the elbow to the other side. So close off the ribs. I just noticed myself flaring a little bit. Close them off. Make sure you're not pushing your chest forward. You're staying upright so that the stretch can be focused on that elbow. Always moving it around, always noticing if something is fussing a little bit. I've taken it to the other side, just directly, keeping it simple. Since we got into them on the floor, we're just seeing how it goes up here, seated. Maybe grab a block or a pillow to sit on while we're here. Maybe sit on a chair, no problem. Check in with that neck again, and let's tilt that right ear to the right shoulder And this time we'll give it a very light tug. I've released my jaw so my lips aren't clenched together. And I'll move it around a little bit. Maybe extend the left arm, wiggle those fingers a little bit, and elongate the neck that way. Round it to the other side. Focus on your breathing. Maybe gently pull with that left arm. Maybe extend that right arm out and wiggle those fingers. Jaw is released, not clenching anything, and round it forward. To move into all fours, and we'll focus on a different part of the shoulder and one side of the back. I've threaded my right arm through my left, so it's on the floor. I'm using my left hand to push myself and adjust my body so there's not so much pressure on that right shoulder, and I feel that right shoulder stretching and the right side of my upper back, and I've really relaxed my ear to the ground. Every time I need to adjust, I push using the left hand so that there's not too much pressure on the side that's down, which is the right now. So I'll push myself back up and take it to the other side. Again, just stretching the shoulder and the back in a different way, always providing options. This is a deep, deep stretch day. We want to get everything we can. Not holding these for too long. We've held the other ones for quite long times. But that top arm, or that right arm rather, is around and that palm is facing up on that waist. And I'm going to use it to push myself up and get ready for the next stretch. Wrists. My fingers are pointed towards me. Elbows are turned open towards you or towards the camera. And I'm being very careful, almost like just placing my hands down. And then I'm going to move around with it. Make sure nothing's stiff. Some of you will feel it immediately. You won't even be able to put your palms down to the ground. Others will be like, I don't feel much at all. Find it. Look around. Trying to discover how to best stretch those wrist extensors and flexors and slowly peel them off, rolling out the wrists. Let's go this way. So the back of the hand, pressing them down towards the ground. You can bend those elbows in towards you. Be very careful here. Please be careful of not putting too much pressure. Wiggling your fingers is very nice, just to loosen things up and keep the blood flowing. You might want to move those hands a bit forward or a bit back, depending on how you're feeling or not feeling the stretch. Then release them, move them around a little bit. Let's turn our fingers away from us. We're going to sit onto the side and then keep those fingers pointed back to our back and see if that will find the stretch in a better way for you. Continue to be mindful of the pressure on the wrist. Continue to maybe do other things to open up. I put my hand on my head. I opened up a bit. I raised my arm up. Roll that wrist out. Let's go to the other side. Very gently place that left hand down to the ground. That palm presses into the floor, watching the shoulder, rotating in a way that makes sense, opening up the chest, maybe extending that right arm out to the side, maybe leaving it relaxed, but finding that stretch in the wrist, and then roll it out. Let's reawaken the hips and the inner thighs, taking the legs out wide into a straddle stretch or a frog stretch, whatever you'd like to call it. So I'm placing the insides of the knees down onto the ground, onto a mat. You definitely need a mat for this one. You'll definitely need to move through this one. Some people say there is no way My knee is killing me with this. So bring those knees together and sit into a child's pose then while we go through this one, and then you'll grab the next one because I'll go into the inner thigh again. So sit back if this is okay for you. Maybe put a block or something underneath you and see if that helps. But we're sitting back and we're really opening up the hips again and the back. Some people love this stretch. Some people think it just doesn't work for them. That's okay. Another option. And we really want to move things around. Let's move to single side focuses. So I've extended that right leg out to the side, to the right side. My knee is pointing straight up towards the ceiling. I've also bent my left knee and opened up that leg a little bit. I'm sitting onto my left heel, and I feel that stretch all through the inside, the medial part of my right leg. My knees are straight up. My toes are flexed. My foot is flexed. My toes are straight up. I could even sit down onto the block because for some of you, that might help. I can move my foot outward. Find what works. We're feeling that stretch on the right leg, inner side of the right leg. Make sure that those knees don't go forward, as in they don't turn towards the camera. They're straight up, or else they'll start to kink, they'll start to hurt, it'll be awkward. And I'm playing with levels. You see me moving around all over the place to really find my spot. I've brought that left foot forward. Maybe sitting this way will help, and I'm pushing that left knee out and away. These all are stretching the same thing. It's just finding what is right for your body, for your level. The more flexible I've gotten here, the less I need the block, and maybe you're there already, and that's okay for you, but you're going to pick what works. So if you're doing any of this, it's most important that that right knee stays up and you move it around. There should be no pain. Maybe you'll need to keep bending and straightening that right leg, whether you're sitting on a block, sitting on a seat, sitting on a pillow or not. We'll keep opening up both parts of the thighs. Let's shift on over to the other side. Sit down onto that right knee, flex the left foot, keep those knees turned up, that left knee turned up, and feel that stretch. Grab the block if you need to. Have a seat, should feel nice, hopefully. And if it doesn't, you're going to find what works. Let's keep moving through those options. Let's see if we can find it together. The focus is to stretch the inside or the inner thigh on that left side, and to certainly not let anything ache while we do it, not let those knees or the back hurt. We're opening up the legs. You might feel even a little bit of a stretch on the right side. But the left leg is extended and we're trying to push our body towards that left side and really open up that leg too, or mainly. And if you'd like to do it without that block, do it without that block. See if you can balance this way, keeping that left knee upward, the left toes flexed. All right, let's take a seat. Take a breath. We've got a couple more stretches before winding down. Take that left arm across the body, or rather right in front of you. Turn the palms up. Take the right elbow, inner elbow, and place it underneath your left elbow. We're going to bring our hands together, our palms together if you can. Some people can right away put their full palms together. And we're going to start lifting the arms up and try to press those forearms away from our bodies. You'll feel a nice stretch in the upper back. So we have different levels of flexibility, you and I, and you're going to look a little bit different doing this possibly, but see if you can get a stretch in the upper back. Let's take the other side. Extend the right arm, palm facing up. Take that left inner elbow underneath the backside of the right arm and then bring those palms together. And I know I'm maneuvering around so that you can see. And then go ahead and try to lift the elbows up, lift the arms up, shake out that neck, and then press the forearms forward. Release it, shake it out. And you're going to see me in all my glory right here in this next one. We're going to clasp our hands behind our back, bring them together, stretch those shoulders again and that chest just one more time. Try to keep the palms together. It's nearly impossible for me, as it may be for you, but try. And we want to get a good stretch in the chest. Yes, that's as far as I go. Some of you, I really hope, can press those arms further back. I constantly work on it, some days better than others. Release it. Clasp your hands behind your head now. Open up the elbows, open up the chest without flaring the ribs. Relax out the neck, lay it into those hands. Just opening up one more time. Starting to wind down now. Find your way down to the ground, onto your back. And let's move into some twists just to end our stretching session. I've widened my legs the width of a mat, or a little bit wider than hip width, and as you can see, just rocking my knees from side to side. Get settled at center. Cross your right knee over your left, and then let the legs gently drop towards the left side. Take that left hand and pull that right leg down towards the ground. I adjusted myself a little bit so you can too, and feel a nice stretch in the internal rotation of that hip. Settle in here, breathe. Notice anything that's tight and relax it. Come back to center and yay, let's take it the other way. We love this side. We're going to use the weight of the right leg to press that left leg down to the ground, and you'll feel a really nice stretch in the hips. Keep adjusting yourself, keep finding it right there. You'll feel that nice stretch there. Open that up. Breathe. Maybe take those arms out wide and come back to center. Switch it up. Left leg on top of the right, and then let those legs drop towards the right. Keeping the arms open or relaxed, and then maybe having that right hand pull that left leg down to the ground to open up the hips and the spine on the left side. Feels really nice. Coming back to center, let's take those knees to the other side. Opening up, adjusting as needed to feel that stretch in the right hip and hip flexor and side of that right body. Release it back to center. Slowly coming up, using those abs to bring them up. And then pull that right knee into the chest, just releasing the lower back a bit in a very gentle way. Take the left knee in, pulling a tiny bit, and then go ahead and add that nose to the right knee as you pull that right knee in, and as the nose to the left knee as you pull that knee in. And then go ahead and pull that right knee in and slide that left leg down straight. and pull that nose to the right knee. And then let's switch off, being very careful with our bodies, sliding that right leg down and bringing that nose to the left knee as you pull it in. Do that set one more time. Now draw both knees in towards the chest, hug them in. Some of you might want to widen the legs a little bit and see if that helps. Rock side to side, rock your neck from side to side, trying to get into that lower back. Let's check in with those hips one more time, taking the right ankle and placing it on the left thigh. And take your hands and place them behind the left thigh if you can. If you don't feel much of a stretch, you can go ahead and grab the shin. Whatever works. Each side is different. And keep it breathing. For those of you that can't grab that left leg at all, even behind the knee, you can just go ahead and hold on to the right leg and focus on that. Maybe placing the left leg down to the ground and seeing if you can just pull that right leg towards you. And just keeping it bent so you get the internal rotators of the hip. Take it to the other side, placing the left ankle on top of the right thigh, and then bringing those legs towards you. You might be tighter on this side. You might be looser on this side. I am tighter on this side. Oh boy, I had to raise my leg up to grab my shin. Nah, not a good idea. This is the end of our session, and we are trying to just gently bring those muscles back to reality. So let's be careful. Do what works. Stretching the neck and shoulders with some movement. This is very neglected. So make sure you focus on this and don't leave me yet. Go ahead and place your feet down on the ground. Place your arms at a 90-degree angle. Really create a double chin. It's really great, but that's okay. We need it. Try to make sure that your upper back stays down and your lower back stays down so your back isn't arching. As you can see, I'm raising my arms up overhead and then letting them slide back down along the ground. So do you see that space between my my upper arm and the floor? I would love to decrease that space. So we have goals here. So I'm going to move it around a little bit. And I rotated my arms a bit there, and then I went back into it. Let's add it in if you haven't already per watching me. We're going to relax out that neck and then draw our forearms down to the ground and then raise them back up. We're moving through the rotation of the shoulders. And this feels wonderful if you can focus and breathe it out and not push too hard. And finally, rocking out the neck and setting up for our final twist. Bring that right knee in towards the chest. Pretty much a standard twist we see at the end of many classes. And we'll pull that right knee to the left side. And just relax that right arm out to the side. And use that left hand to maybe pull that right leg down. Bretzel stretch. If you can do this, go ahead and take that right hand and grab the left ankle. If that's difficult for you, go back to stretching the way we were with that initial twist. You can take a block and place it underneath the left leg there, just for some help. This can be a wonderful stretch, a wonderful twist for the spine, but if you're not ready for it, it's not so great. So make sure you're paying attention and, as always, as I've repeated like a broken record, doing what works. Shake it out, release it, and we'll get ready to take it to the other side. Go ahead and draw that left knee in towards you, and then let it just drop in a guided way towards the right side. That left arm is out at your side. I'm not going to specify whether the palm should be up or down. It could go either way. Right now, we're looking for comfort and just a release of that spine. So listen to your body. Try to relax, breathe. See if you can grab that right ankle with the left hand. Try to draw that left shoulder down to the ground. Maybe grab a block for support on the other leg. And I'm a little bit in a tight knot right here. So if you can extend those legs almost into a laying lunge position on the ground, that would be great. But if not, you're working on it just like me. Just as long as there's no pain and it feels like you're opening up a bit more. And then round it out, shake it out. And the final piece to our stretch session is letting gravity completely open us up. So you can just lay here like this. You can extend those legs out long. You can grab those blocks, which is really nice, or grab a pillow, one or two, and adjust it so that you're laying your neck, it's supported, your head is supported, and your back is supported behind you, or behind your back, and you feel completely comfortable just opening up the chest there and the body. And let everything relax, breathing, finding the most delicious spot you can to release your body and all that stretching. It should have felt like a workout. It was long. We held stretches for a long time, and now you're done. Yay! You did a great job. Take a bit more time just to relax in silence, catch your breath, and then have a wonderful day.